think I need to start off the video just clarifying a quick couple of points. It was made in the match reaction video in the draw to Bournemouth. So I did like a quick video after the game, and a few people have sort of come forward and said to me that, oh, you were saying it was a perfect performance and saying it was great. I really wasn't. I really wasn't saying it was perfect. I was just saying it was just in terms of how things have been of late. It was a better day for West Ham, really, and especially in terms of being at home. I can't remember at all this season where I've walked away from the stadium thinking I actually quite enjoyed large parts of that game. I thought the first half we started pretty well. Obviously, that was the second half of the first half. We were poor, and then we started off pretty slowly the second half. But then once we made the changes, it was good. I quite enjoyed the tail end of the game, and especially at the end where it sort of felt like we were going to go on a nick here. It just felt like it had a little bit of excitement to it, didn't it? Which made a little bit of different. Well, a little bit. There's a huge amount of difference to what we're used to seeing this season at London Stadium. So that was really what I was saying. It wasn't as if I was suggesting that we played amazing for 90 minutes, and I can't believe how thrilled I was and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't that. It was just the fact that I walked away from London Stadium, which made a change. You're going, oh, I enjoyed it today. I actually made a bit of a change. So that's all I wanted to say on that. But I'm not here to talk about the Bournemouth game. I need to talk about EXWHU employees update, which we've got a few bits of coming out about that. But the one thing I want to focus on mainly, because I was going to talk about this anyway, is the goalkeeper situation at West Ham. I've kind of talked about this a couple of times, but sort of not given it its own video essentially, but mentioned it, especially in sort of match previews, in that I feel that this is a position that needs attention at West Ham. We know that we are walking into a very, very busy summer at West Ham, arguably bigger than last summer. I think that there's such a big task ahead. This team needs balance. This team needs a lot of engine in it. It's something that's lacking. I think we've got an aging squad as well. But the goalkeeper situation isn't good enough at West Ham. I've always felt, I've not ever really been convinced of Areola. I'm going to be honest. I've never really considered him. Looked at that goalkeeper and thought he's our number one. He's the guy that's going to take over from Fabianski eventually. Like that was, I know that was the intention, but I don't feel like he's grabbed that shirt. And let's be fair here, he's had enough time to do so. He's had enough opportunity to do so. And it's no dig at him. It's not having a real go at Areola. He's not a bad goalkeeper, but this level's hard. It's unforgiving. And I feel that if you're going to be a good Premier League side, if you're going to be a side that's going to compete and be in the top half and fighting for those European places, you've got to have a really solid defence. You've got to have a good goalkeeper. And the evidence was there again, wasn't it, against Bournemouth? It was there, strikingly obvious once again, because Areola was at fault badly for the first goal. It was a tame effort in, really. He should have dealt with it a lot better. Basically, doesn't handle the ball. He fumbles it. It falls out to Evan Nilsson, and he just fires it in, and the Bournemouth take the lead. Which was unfortunate because really, when you consider the two goals that Bournemouth scored, that was obviously being one, and the other one was a mistake from Max Kilman in terms of playing players on. It's so frustrating that it's almost as if it isn't as if we are a lot of the reason for our downfall, and conceding goals. I just think Areola's had enough time. I really do. I feel like there's enough evidence there to suggest that he's not a number one goalkeeper. He's a really good number two. And that's what I feel like we've got at West Ham with Areola and Fabianski. We've got two number two goalkeepers. We haven't got a number one. And it's just Areola is not going to step up to the plate. Fabianski has been our number one and has been a good number one goalkeeper West Ham, but he's not anymore. His age has caught up with him. My preference would be either one. I'd probably like to keep Areola, possibly let Fabianski go, and then bring another goalkeeper. That'd be my preference. But it's whether Areola wants that position, and also considering his wage as well, will West Ham want him on the bench? And of course, you've got the added ingredient that we can't offer him European football. Have we got European football? I feel like you can make a case for a really strong number two goalkeeper and say, well, look, you're going to be playing football. We can't offer that. It's going to be very difficult. So other than domestic cups, it's probably not going to be good enough. I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't know where Areola's thoughts are, but let's be honest. We know from previous experience when he's wanted the shirt that he really wants to be the West Ham's number one goalkeeper. He's just not good enough. He really is not good enough. And it's not, as I say, it's not like I'm calling him out of being crap. He isn't crap. He's just not that good. And we need better. And then it leads me on to James Trafford. So we've had an update from EXWHU employee. We talked about him previously, him being a target. West Ham are targeting players in the Championship, Burnley players and Sunderland players in particular. We've been very impressed with Burnley's defensive record. They've conceded 20. What am I talking about? Nowhere near that. 12 goals. 12 goals all season. I've just put up the table now. I know they conceded at the weekend. So at 40 games. 40 games. It's pretty remarkable, isn't it? And I'm not saying it's all down to James Trafford. They've got a great setup there. They're very well organised. So, but it's a good record to have. And James Trafford, he's a real presence. 6'6", 20. He's only 22 years old. He came from the Man City academy. He joined Man City at 12 years old. I think he came from Carlisle. Remember rightly? Yeah, Carlisle. He went from Carlisle. Then he had a couple of loans out. He was at Accrington Stanley for a season. He had a couple of seasons also at Bolton. And then in 2023, he went on to Burnley, where he's now made 67 appearances. As I say, he's had a fabulous season. This is what we want. This is really what we want. We know that Newcastle have been rumoured to be keen, but West Ham very much are. Now, in terms of the spend, because this is the issue, isn't it? It's like where our priorities sit. Let's be honest, there probably are bigger priorities in this team. We know we need to sort out the striker situation because we've got Mikel Antonio. Whether he's going to get a new deal or not, I doubt it at this stage, to be honest. I've got to be honest. I'd be surprised if the club would offer Antonio a deal now, considering the injuries had, etc. Obviously, Danny Ings is going to be let go. Nicholas Fulkrug's been outstanding since he's come back, so I've had no problem in keeping him. But he's not a number one striker because he's just too injury prone. So we can't have him just as our own striker. So West Ham are going to have to fork out on a striker. We know that's our number one targets at the moment for that, although we are going to have an update on the striker situation, which involves Liam Delap, which is hopefully he might possibly be coming in contention, someone we might want to go for. But Jonathan David, of course, is our number one target. You've then got the midfield, which I think is actually more important than any other position at the moment, and that's a few positions. We are very weak in the midfield. We're lacking engine, we're lacking creativity and drive. There's so much that needs sorting out in that midfield. So I do appreciate that there are other priority positions, but as far as we understand it, West Ham are prioritising a new goalkeeper, and James Trafford at the moment tops the list. Of course, Burnley are top of the Championship at the moment. Their promotion, if it happens, would undoubtedly cause that a bit of an issue because they can offer him Premier League football. They might have, and he might want to stay loyal and stay there. So it's very difficult, very, very difficult. So really, which is horrible to say so, Burnley, ideally, we don't want Burnley getting promoted if we're going to go for Trafford. It would make life a lot easier for us to do so, to bring him in. But I like him. I really do. He's a player that I've been very, very keen on for quite some time because, in fact, knowing that we were interested in him a little while ago, you just think this is the kind of profile goalkeeper that we really want. I've been really, really, really impressed with him. So it's down to what West Ham are willing to spend, though, because that's the thing as well. We notoriously know West Ham aren't big spenders when it comes to goalkeepers. But as far as we understand it, whereas it come from West Ham are willing to spend quite a fair bit because they realise that if you're able to spend, say, let's just say we go and spend £30 million to bring in a James Trafford, argument's sake, I'm guessing at the moment roughly. Let's just imagine that would be enough to get the deal done. It might be a little bit less needed for that, but let's just say it's 30. He's 22. He could be a goalkeeper for the next 15 years. Do you know what I mean? It's like it really could be. So I see it as a massive investment. I think West Ham need to do it. As I say, I'm not convinced that Areola is the right guy. And also, if we want to go forward with a fresh slate and in terms of having Graham Potter, a new team, I just feel like this is a position to get sorted. Also, as well, it's not just is it down to goalkeeping capability in terms of shot saving and things like that. It's what it gives the defence, that confidence, I do worry that the players are concerned because I feel I would be. I don't think his distribution is good enough in terms of playing out from the back, which is obviously what Graham Potter's trying to implement at West Ham. So that's another factor. And I just don't think he commands the box at all, Areola. And from what I see of James Trafford, I feel like he ticks all those boxes. He represents his country as well. I think it would be a great signing for West Ham. So it's certainly, as far as we understand it, from EXWHU Employees update, in terms of goalkeepers, James Trafford is our number one target, and we are willing to spend quite a fair bit of money to get him in. It's just a case now of waiting to see how Burnley perform at the tail end of the season in terms of their promotion. So one to keep an eye on, definitely. As far as I'm concerned at the moment, Areola, but his days are numbered. Certainly as the number one goalkeeper anyway. Cheers. Go on, your ones.